Ethiopia has begun efforts to revitalize its agricultural sector as the World Food Programme calls for free movement of food amid the impact of COVID-19. Some African countries have been faced with food scarcity prior to the global crisis, and the United Nations Food Agency says more food support is needed for the affected countries. WFP is also coordinating the distribution process of medical equipment to help contain the COVID-19. Here is more details of that in this report.
The COVID-19 pandemic has hit at a time when some countries in Africa were struggling with threats to food supply, like floods, drought and locust invasion. The World Food Programme says the affected areas need to have continuous supply of food assistance, despite restrictions of movements during this pandemic.
We need to be smart all along the way. We've got to make certain that we don't shut down the supply chain. Because if we shut down the supply chain and we can't distribute food and COVID supplies, then you will see extraordinary devastation around the world. We've got to work together.
But some dependent countries are beginning to plan on how to feed themselves more. In Ethiopia, for example, the government says agriculture, which is mainly practiced in the rural areas, has remained resilient since March as other sectors fold in to COVID-19 pressure. And it is now refocusing on its long-term development.
We have huge arable land that has not been put to use, but the big challenge has been, we've talked about agriculture in the past, but I think we will not put our money where our mouth is. But this time around, we're doing that. Investment in irrigation, in mechanization, in essential fertilizers, and access to credit as well.
But beyond just food distribution, the WFP is keen on ensuring that health is given priority. Aviation and logistics experts from the agency are now managing a 24-hour logistics distribution hub at the Bole International Airport in Addis Ababa.
If we don't handle the COVID pandemic right, we will have absolute famines of biblical proportions around the world. We are literally looking at 150 to 300,000 people could die per day from starvation if we don't balance and strategically address these issues just right.
The hub is being used to distribute medical supplies for combating COVID-19 to countries around the continent. The food agency says it needs at least $350 million to support its common aviation, shipping, storage and transport and engineering services that are vital to the entire humanitarian response to the pandemic.